Little background: there's me, there's Maeva, there's William, there's George, there's Mina and Mana, and that's me, my wife, our two boys, and our two dogs, Mina and Mana. We live in Ireland, and we are in seek of a home. We're seeking a home. We're trying to find a home. Ireland at the moment, the housing market is terrible. There's nothing available, and that what is available is overpriced or just rotten. 100 grand won't buy you a rotten wet bungalow in the west of Ireland with trees growing inside the house. 50 grand might buy you a ruin, literally something that cows are living in perhaps, and even then you'll be outbid on it, and the price will go up another 10 grand. So everyone wants to have a home, and unfortunately there just isn't enough houses in the housing stock. Currently we live in a house that comes with part of a job, but the problem with that is that while it seems great on paper, it means you're kind of tied to the job, and if you want to change the job, you've got to find a house. So finding a house is not really possible at the moment, so you can't leave your job, so you're kind of stuck in that rut. So really it's time for a new career choice, so that drives the need for the house. It's not just that, because with two young boys, two under two, that we really need a home for them. You know, we've got to look to the future. I'm 50 years of age. I'm quite old, so it's a case of kind of, there's a short time to create a home for the boys and for Maeva, and we can't do it in Ireland, so we're leaving Ireland. We're going to hit the road. Maeva is French, so we're heading to France. Originally we had kind of toyed with the idea of Portugal, just purely because of the climate. We've been there, the people are lovely, very relaxed, it's generally quite cheap. After looking at a lot of houses there, we kind of came to the conclusion that it was, what you were getting is overpriced at the moment. Portugal seems to be the go-to place now for Americans, Brits, and just everyone else looking for a house. So the price has gone up, and the quality of housing, you know, the further south you go, it gets dustier and sandier and more arid, and the houses reflect that. You know, they're clay walls, and they're not built to the same quality. So 80-90 grand might get you what looks like a great house or a nice house, but it's really doesn't have a solid structure to it. So France, well, it's further north you go in Portugal you do, but you're getting into kind of rural mountainous regions in Portugal then. And with two young boys who will need to go to school in 2 years, we need to be somewhat close to civilization, even though we are looking at, you know, we want something with a little bit of land, but our goal isn't to find our forever home the first time. We have a little bit of money there from an inheritance, so that is going to fund this. We're really lucky to have that. If we didn't have that, we'd really be starting from nothing. So not everyone is fortunate enough to have a little bit of money. I'd say a little bit, it's 100,000 euro. It's not, it's less than that now, 89,000 euro. So that is no small amount when it comes to having money these days. Without that, we'd have nothing. We'd have 2,000 euro without that. So it's really given us a backup for this project, that we can kind of take a bit of a chance. You know, we can have a look at property in France, and we're not going to be under massive pressure to do it. Now again, we do have a time frame. We want to do it in, like, a year realistically to buy our first property, fix it up, sell it on would be great. That doesn't often happen. The more TV shows you watch, you'll see that generally everything is delayed and there's issues with paperwork. So we're not being overly optimistic with that, because we know that there's a good chance we won't turn it around in a year. If we do, it's a bonus. If we do it any quicker, it'll be fabulous. And the plan is to do that a few times. Anyone we asked about investment said property. There's bigger risks with shares, you know, in the stock market, because obviously they can go up and down, as too can property. But you can sit on property and you can live in the property that you're in if the value goes down and not be homeless. So there's just less risk with property. Obviously, if you buy something that has structural issues that could cost you a lot of money, there's a risk involved in that. But having a good surveyor come in and check a property beforehand will mitigate that risk a little bit. So we're going to just see what happens. So again, we're fortunate enough to have this camper van, so we're going to use that to travel through France for the next couple of months, and we're going to visit regions. We've looked at thousands of houses online, but without actually going to a region, it's impossible to see what it's like. So we want to travel down through France. And again, France is so big that even that is a bit of a nightmare. It's like, do you go down the west coast? Do you stay down in central France? Maeva's originally from the Alps. We're not really looking at there at the moment. We're looking for somewhere a little bit more, a little bit warmer, a little bit, you know, shorter winter season. So we're kind of, well, we don't know where we're looking. We're looking kind of central, southern, western, southwestern, southeastern. Yeah, so we're not sure yet. It's all very kind of, let's go with the flow and see what happens. So we're going to take the motor home. We've got the ferry booked. We're trying to get campsites now. They're all booked. So look, we won't be stuck. We'll find an air somewhere and park on the side of the road, or and then get out of Cherbourg and get down, and there should be a bit more availability. Again, with 2 young children, we don't know how much distance we're going to travel in a day. I think realistically 100 k's would be about it. But France is so big that you pick something on a map that looks quite short, and it's a 3-4 hour journey. So we don't want to just blitz it and drive through the night to get from A to B. We want to kind of take our time, stop off in villages, small towns, and see what's what. So that's the general plan. I suppose I'll go into a bit more detail in another video of what we're actually looking for house-wise. Again, there's such a wide variety of houses out there, but we're definitely looking at something that will turn around quickly. So we're going to do a lot of work on finding out what each region, what the sale price is for houses that aren't fixer-uppers. So we've got to do our maths on it and see if we buy something, do it up and sell it on, will we be able to get that money for it? Because again, people are generally, when they put their heart and soul into something like that, their expectations are really high. So you've got to set your expectations kind of low, and anything above that is a bonus. And by setting your expectations low, I don't mean by setting your standards low, or by, you know, ideally you're looking at the best case scenario, but being realistic is key. So I suppose we've got 2 weeks left before we leave. There's a bit of work to do on the camper van, and we are just tipping away at that now. It's going in for service next week, new tyres. The mechanic looked at it yesterday. He's really happy underneath. He said the chassis is in great condition. Places like under the battery that normally, the problem is it's a Fiat Ducato chassis that normally has problems. There's no issues. He said the brake linings have been replaced with metal linings, metal pipes. So everything's good down there. The discs are good. He's going to just do a little bit of work underneath, give it a good service, make sure the spare wheel is accessible. And then after that, then I've done a little bit of work already, getting things like the The driver's window wasn't working, the electric window, got that working. Seatbelt wasn't working, got that replaced. Got the radio working, which is crucial to going any road trip. We'll have a little bit of oh, I better not play this one. Anyway, that's an introduction. I'll introduce you to the rest of the crew, the rest of the exploration team in another video.